This is exactly the spark the Mets needed. Mets lineup change wakes up offense. Manager Carlos Mendoza moves Francisco Lindor down to 2 in the lineup and Nimmo up to 1, and the team avoided a doubleheader sweep by the Brewers by winning the second game 7-3. I am Adam Choit, your host for today here on Mets Digest, and before we dig in on today's topic, I just want to take a quick second to break something else down because as you can see by this graphic here, nearly 70% of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed, so please remember to click subscribe. That is definitely appreciated for sure. So let's get into it. The Mets won a game. Look at that, 7-3. Remember what victory felt like? Well, they won because, as we know, they've lost a number of games that ends in the word teen, in an amount of games that also ends in the word teen. So they've lost a bunch of games lately in the last couple of weeks, and it has been definitely some very tough times for the team. So it's definitely good to see that they're back in the victory column. And who remembers that game one? What was there, a doubleheader today? What do you guys remember that? Was there a game one? The stadium was Citi Field was pretty empty. Does that game even count? The stay game, makeup game? That's long in the past. That's history, my friends. Because as you can see, the Mets won, and I have the proof here in visual and photographic form with them celebrating. Remember this? I feel like we haven't seen this in so long. The kick celebration, the huddle celebration. It's just nice to see on the home field that the team is back in the win column, and a lot of that credit is probably going to go to the manager, Carlos Mendoza, for making quite the shakeup in the lineup here. As you can see here, Nimmo has been bumped up to number 1 in the lineup, and Lindor down to 2. And that's been quite a while. Here's a tweet from SNY telling us that Lindor is batting second for the Mets tonight. This was posted before the game, of course. The last time Lindor was in the Mets starting lineup and did not bat leadoff was May 17th, 2024. So it's been over a year that he did not bat leadoff since the last time he did not bat leadoff for the Mets. That is quite a while ago. So it's definitely a big change. And there's debate, of course, about lineups and how much that actually does affect the team. But we'll dive into it a little bit more. But before we move forward on that, I did want to congratulate Francisco Lindor on making the All-Star team, his first All-Star team with the Mets. Of course, notoriously, Lindor tends to start seasons off for the Mets very slowly. This year, he's chosen to have a slump in the middle of the year after he's already gotten his All-Star nod. I kid, but congratulations to Lindor, Francisco Lindor, very much well deserved. And maybe he celebrated tonight with a great game. That's what it was all about. Maybe it relaxed him. Not that Lindor had the All-Star game on his brain or anything like that. But I wanted to dive a little bit more into the box score from tonight's game, because we can take a look. Because there's actually a lot of positive things to take a look at here. We got all 7 runs were driven in by Nimmo and Lindor. That's pretty impressive, and I have a feeling the Mets will probably stick with this lineup for probably the next few games, but we'll see. Maybe matchups will dictate where Mendoza goes. But you got 4 RBI for Nimmo, 3 for Lindor, 5 for 9 between the two of them. Soto had hit a couple of walks. McNeil had a couple of hits, and also Mauricio didn't have any hits, but got on base a couple of times with a couple of walks and a couple of good at bats. So that's nice to see. Of course, the highlight was the big inning by the Mets in which Lindor and Nimmo went back to back, and of course Nimmo had the grand slam, and we'll dive into that a little bit more and what actually set up that grand slam. And I have a graphic to show you guys that dives deeper into that. The move ended up being a shot in the arm for the Mets, referring to the lineups changed by Mendoza, while Mizorowski, the Brewers starter, ended up having his worst outing in his brief career. He allowed a season-high 5 runs in 3 2/3 innings. All 5 runs were scored in the second inning, and it took a bad bounce to help the Mets extend their inning. With 2 outs and runners on first and second, Kodai Senga hit a ball up the middle that hit Mizorowski's glove and bounced toward second baseman Bryce Turang, who tried to make the force play at second base, but Turang didn't handle the ball cleanly, And before anyone knew it, the bases were loaded. That's Bill Ladson of MLB.com. And what happened next was Nimmo went deep. And I think that's really what it takes sometimes to snap out of a slump, to snap out of a bad streak. Baseball is just such a strange game. And there's slumps and streaks and daily ups and downs and good luck and bad luck. And the Mets have definitely been fighting that. So to see some good fortune go their way with that Kodai Senga hit is nice to see. We all want to come down on the Mets for sure for the terrible starting pitching, lack of clutch hitting, and even give reasons in terms of injuries. But I think on top of that, there is some luck, there is mojo, there is baseball gods, there are vibes, and to see some of that luck turn around, and to see Nimmo come up as the very next batter after that awkward Sanger bouncer up the middle. It's just nice to see that Lady Luck is on the Mets side for once, at least in quite some time. It feels like these last 2 weeks almost feel like a month. It's weird that the Mets had a pretty solid first half of June, but really the second half of June was just the complete opposite. I showed this statistic on my other video that they were the best record. They had the best record in the league on something like June 12th, and since then they have had the worst record in baseball. But let's dive a little bit more into some game notes here. This is from James Shiano. Game 87 notes, hilarious. Changing the lineup always works. Nimmo and Lindor engines. Big walks from Beatty and Mauricio. Mendoza managed this one like a Game 7. Blade Tidwell runs out of gas quickly. Edwin Diaz looked very fresh. I think that's a pretty good summary of the game. Let's take a look at Tidwell's numbers, because while they are not particularly impressive, you got to say that he did what he needed to do to steer, I'll use that term, the Mets to this victory, and he got the win in the game as well, going 4 1/3, allowing 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. Not amazing stats, but he was definitely the bulk man tonight, as this tweet from SNY refers to him as. Like I've been saying, though, that is that mojo matters, vibes matters. These baseball players, they're human beings, and it's hard to prove, it's hard to show. I mean, we can look at statistics, but sometimes where you are in the lineup does matter. It affects maybe confidence, what pitches you're going to get, and the mental aspect affects the physical game. When you got that racing heartbeat and you have to be calm to perform in such a precision sport, one needs to be at ease and be calm and be in the zone and have the correct and the proper mental focus in order to do one's job correctly. And I think there's some other good vibes from the Mets coming out of today. I want to dive a little bit deeper into some reports from the minor leagues that have come out, because we got some guys on rehab, we got some guys on assignment, and there's some positive things coming out of that as well. So let's take a look at who should we talk about next. Let's get that going. We got who's this guy? Remember him? Jesse Winker. He's a positive vibes guy. Very energetic on the bench and on the team. And his career 800-ish OPS is definitely going to be a welcome back to the lineup, even if it's in a part-time platoon type situation. Just having him around the MLB roster, I think, will be a very positive for the Mets overall. And I'm looking forward to seeing him back on the team myself, because as you can see earlier today, he blasted a 3-run homer for Double-A Binghamton. Yes, Double-A, it's just a rehab stint. But wouldn't we rather be him doing well and hitting homers than striking out every time he comes up? So Jesse Winker on the mend. He should be back pretty soon for sure. As well as this guy here, Francisco Alvarez. No date for him to come back yet. And again, I know Triple-A. He's playing in Triple-A Syracuse. And yes, 3 straight home runs in 3 straight games is nice to see, but we need to take this with a grain of salt. But it is good to see as well that he's doing well down in AAA, and just hitting the ball squarely, squaring up fastballs, and that could sometimes get his confidence back. Hopefully that does get his confidence back. Again, no timetable for him to return, but I don't think it will be for too long, especially if the Mets offense does continue to struggle over this next week, 2 weeks. I have a feeling we'll see Francisco Alvarez back with the team this month before the calendar hits August. That's just my guess. But it is good to see him doing well in the minors. And one more guy I wanted to talk about is Sean Manaea, because he had a start today as well in Double-A. So let's dive a little bit into the report that came out about his start earlier today. It came a day later than scheduled, but Sean Manaea was back on the mound in another rehab start for Double-A Binghamton Wednesday. The Mets southpaw tossed 3+ innings, allowing 3 runs, 2 earned on 6 hits, 1 walk, while striking out 3. Manaea came out to start the 4th inning, but walked the leadoff man on 7 pitches before he was pulled. Mets skipper Carlos Mendoza said that they expected Manaea to throw 45 to 50 pitches, and the left-hander eclipsed that, tossing 60 pitches with 39 strikes against the Hartford Yard Goats. The extra length is likely due to Manaea's originally scheduled Tuesday start being postponed due to weather. Mendoza confirmed that Manaea's next rehab start will be Tuesday and what will likely be his final outing in the minors before being called up to join the Mets rotation. Although Manaea's start on Wednesday wasn't perfect, it's encouraging to see him on the mound. This was his first rehab start since an elbow injury forced the pitcher to receive a cortisone shot. That's per Philip Martinez of SNY. So, yes, positive news on Manaea. He'll be back soon. He's a positive vibes guy as well. And I think we sometimes could underrate the impact just having these positive, familiar faces and your well-liked teammates around you. He's the rally cap guy. He's one of the emotional leaders of the team, certainly. So I think having him around back with the team will definitely have a positive impact as well. And let's take a look at his reaction as well, because he had some quotes after the game, and let's share those here. I don't really take too much stock in it, referring to his stats from the game. I take more stock in how I felt, how I controlled pitches. That part was okay, but I'm healthy, and I'll take that. It's the worst. I hate being on the sidelines while everyone is grinding up there. I'm trying everything I can to get back, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I just want to help this team win, and that's Sean Manaea. And the team, as much as we want to come down on them and have come down on them with rather harsh criticism over the last couple of weeks or so, it is a pretty likable team. They are pretty likable guys. They care. They want to win. And I think that definitely stems from ownership down to general manager, down to, of course, the manager himself and the players. They care. They like being Mets. They want to win. They want to win for the fans. And you feel that as fans, and you hope they continue to have success, and this leads to success against the Yankees this weekend and moving forward. And I think they have another one against the Brewers tomorrow too, of course. But let's take one more look at the standings for some perspective, because I think that's always a helpful thing to do, because we could forget sometimes where we are in the season and exactly where the Mets are in the standings. The Mets are 2 games out of first place. And what did James Shiano say here before? This was game 87, so we have nearly half the season left to make up 2 games. We being out of the Mets, of course, speaking as the we, which I'll probably will slip into from time to time. But plenty of reason for hope, plenty of reason for some optimism. They just got to hang in there and continue with these team efforts. We had 7 pitchers? 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 6 pitchers. The Mets had 6 pitchers pitch tonight. And so definitely a team effort. Everyone pitched pretty well. Tidwell's the only one who gave up any runs tonight. And he was the one who got the win and pitched the most amount of innings. So definitely a solid team effort all around. Hopefully the Mets can get Winker back soon, and Manaea, and even Alvarez, I think, is a good vibes guy too. And when he's right and his mind's right and his mind's right, and even in terms of his defense, the pitchers do like throwing to him, and you can see that he definitely takes ownership and leadership on the field too. So that's something to look forward to see, hopefully seeing him come back and hit. Nothing's perfect for the team. Vientos still looks pretty lost. Tyrone Taylor, I don't think he's had a hit in 2 months. But those things aside, got some guys coming back from injuries. Got a win tonight. Looking forward to tomorrow and this weekend against the Yankees and seeing the Mets definitely get back on their winning ways. Please remember to click subscribe, like, comment, share. Do all those things. Definitely appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments about these guys coming back. Have the Mets turned it around? Thank you very much, and talk soon.